You are born in Sparta in the year 500 BC. Before your mother can hold you, the midwife bathes you in strong wine instead of water, watching to see whether you convulse. Nearly 1 in 3 infants born in the Greek world this year will not live to see their first birthday. But in Sparta, your odds are decided even sooner than that. Your father wraps you in a cloak and carries you to a hall where the elders of his tribe are waiting. They unwrap you on a table and examine your limbs, your color, the strength of your cry. If they judge you weak, you will be left tonight on the slopes of Mount Taygetus. Your mother is not asked. Your father does not speak. The old men study you for a long moment, then one of them nods. Sparta will keep you. This is your entire life. Your first home is a low house of timber and mud brick near the Eurotas River, in one of the 5 villages that together call themselves Sparta. There is no wall around the city. Your people say their men are the wall. Your mother is unlike almost any other mother in Greece. She runs, she wrestles, she speaks her mind in public, and she owns land in her own name. She feeds you plain food and lets you cry in the dark, because a Spartan child must not learn to fear darkness or hunger or being alone. When you fall, she does not pick you up. She waits for you to stand. You will never learn a trade. Instead, you learn to keep silent, to obey, and to endure, because your childhood has a deadline. At the age of 7, every Spartan boy is taken from his mother and enrolled in the agoge, the state training system that will own you for the next 13 years. The night before you leave, your mother lets you sleep beside her, something she has never once allowed. In the morning, she says nothing. She straightens your cloak with hands that are perfectly steady, and only when you look back from the road do you see that she is still standing in the doorway, and that she stands there until you are out of sight. In the agoge, you live in a herd of boys your own age, commanded by older youths. Your head is shaved. You go barefoot through summer and winter to harden your feet. From the age of 12, you are issued 1 cloak a year and nothing else. No tunic, no shoes, no blanket. You sleep on reeds you tear from the riverbank with your bare hands. You are fed just enough to survive and deliberately no more, because a hungry boy learns to steal, and Sparta wants thieves. Taking food is expected, being caught is not. Boys who are caught are whipped for 1 failure only, being clumsy enough to be seen. You are 8 the first time you go a full day without eating. You are 9 the first time you are beaten in front of the others, and understand that no one is coming to help you. But you notice something happening in your own body, the same thing every boy around you is discovering. You are becoming harder to hurt. The men who watch the training say very little. But after a foot race one winter, a scarred veteran named Eurytos marks your name on a tablet. He knows exactly what that race was measuring. You do not. Not yet. Every other boy in Greece is learning his father's work. Potters raise potters, farmers raise farmers. You are being raised for exactly one profession, because in Sparta, full citizens are forbidden by law from practicing any craft or trade at all. No shop, no forge, no plow will ever be yours. Your work, your only work, is war. The economics beneath this are stark. Sparta sits on some of the best farmland in Greece, yet no Spartan farms it. Generations before your birth, your people conquered the neighboring land of Messenia and turned its entire population into helots, unfree laborers bound to the soil and owned by the state. Every citizen boy like you will inherit a kleros, an allotment of land, along with the helot families attached to it, who must surrender a fixed share of everything they grow. The helots do the living, you do the fighting, and the arithmetic of that arrangement is the most dangerous number in your world. There are roughly 8,000 full Spartan citizens. The helots outnumber you around 7 to 1. That single ratio explains your entire city. It explains why every citizen is a soldier, because an army like Sparta's exists first of all to hold down its own fields. It explains why, each year, the city's elected overseers formally declare war on the helots, so that killing one carries no religious guilt. And it explains what happens to you at 18 when you were selected for the krypteia. You are handed a knife, given no food, and sent alone into the countryside. You hide by day, you move at night. The helots, judged too strong, too proud, or too widely respected, do not see the morning. You never speak of those weeks, no Spartan does. But when you return, the elders look at you differently. At 20, your training ends and your life as a soldier begins. But first you must be voted into a sicilian, a common mess of about 15 men, who will eat together every night for the rest of their lives. Each member drops a small ball of bread into a bowl. One crushed ball, a single silent no from a single man, and you are rejected, left without a table and without full citizenship. The bowl comes back with every ball round and whole. You are in. Membership has a price. Every month, each man must deliver dues from his land, a large measure of barley, wine, cheese, figs, and a small sum for meat and fish. A citizen whose kleros cannot pay loses his seat and his rank with it. Supper is famous across Greece for one dish, the black broth pork, simmered in its own blood with vinegar and salt. A visitor from another city once tasted it and said he finally understood why Spartans were so willing to die. Then there is your equipment, which you must supply yourself. A bronze-faced shield 3 feet across and around 16 pounds in weight, carried on the left arm, and it does not protect you. It protects the man standing beside you as his shield protects you. A thrusting spear 8 feet long, a short sword for the moment everything else fails, and a crimson cloak, the one color Sparta permits its soldiers because it is the color that does not show blood. Day after day you drill in the phalanx, marching in step to the sound of pipes, wheeling a wall of shields without ever breaking it. The other Greeks fight as farmers on campaign leave. You fight as the only professional soldiers in the Greek world, and everyone knows it. When men from other cities meet a crimson cloak on the road, they step aside. But far to the east, an empire of 40 nations has begun to move, and it has never stepped aside for anyone. That same year, you marry. Sparta pushes its men to marry young, because beneath every other fear the city carries one that never sleeps, the slowly shrinking count of its own citizens. Men who stay bachelors too long are barred from the festivals and mocked in the streets. Your bride is 18, which makes her unusual in Greece, where most girls are married at 14 to men twice their age. Spartan women marry late and marry grown because the city believes strong mothers bear strong sons. The wedding is like nothing else in the Greek world. There is no procession, no feast, no veil. Her hair is cut short. She is dressed in a man's cloak and left alone in a dark room, and you come to her in secret and are gone before dawn. Back to the barracks. This is the shape of your marriage for years to come, because until the age of 30, a Spartan man lives with his regiment, not his wife. There are fathers in your mess who have barely seen their own children in daylight, so you live a double life. By day you belong to the drill field and the hunt, running the ridges of Taygetus with the hounds of your mess, because every man is expected to bring game to the common table. By night sometimes you belong to her, and slowly you discover what the lawgivers intended all along. That a wife a man must scheme to visit becomes a wife he never stops wanting to visit. While you soldier, your wife rules everything else. She runs the kleros, commands the household, and manages the helots who work your land, answering to no one. Spartan men mock the other Greeks for locking their women indoors, and the other Greeks whisper that Sparta is secretly governed by its wives. They are not entirely wrong. In time, women will come to hold nearly 2/5 of all the land in Sparta. Across the years, your wife will bear 6 children. Around half of all children in the Greek world die before they come of age, but your house beats the odds. 4 of the 6 survive past their 5th birthday, 2 sons and 2 daughters. When your firstborn son is placed in your arms, your wife watches your face and says only this: he will be inspected like you were. Make sure there's nothing to find. 3 days later, your son is carried to the same hall where you were once laid on a table, and old men unwrap him and study him while you stand where your father stood, learning what that silence costs. They nod. The relief nearly buckles your knees. There are seasons of light in this life, too. At the summer festival of the Gymnopedia, the whole city dances, and choirs of boys, grown men, and old men answer one another in song, about who they will be, who they are, and who they once were. For a few seasons, your life finally has a settled shape. The mess at night, the drill field at dawn, the stolen hours at home. It does not last. In your 20th year, a runner comes down the northern road, and after he speaks to the overseers, the whole city goes quiet. The king of Persia, Xerxes, has crossed from Asia into Europe on a bridge of boats, leading an army drawn from 40 nations, a force so vast that Greek writers will claim it drank rivers dry where it camped. City after city surrenders earth and water without a fight. But Sparta is in the middle of the Carneia, its most sacred festival, when the law forbids the army to march. So the state sends what the law allows, an advance guard of 300 men under King Leonidas, every one of them chosen because he has a living son to carry on his line. You are 20, and your son is an infant. You are not chosen. You stand on the road with the others and watch 300 crimson cloaks walk north, and Eurytus, the old veteran who once marked your name, turns and raises his hand to you as he passes. The news comes back in pieces. A mountain pass called Thermopylae. 2 days of fighting in which the Persian dead pile up in front of the Spartan line. Then a betrayal, a hidden path, an encirclement. On the 3rd day, all 300 die where they stand. Eurytus does not come home. No one from that column comes home. Almost no one. One man, Aristodemus, was sent back with an eye disease before the final morning, and Sparta cannot forgive him for being alive. No citizen will share fire or speech with him. They call him the Trembler. Remember his name, because you will see him again. Weeks later, refugees carry worse news south. Athens has fallen, and the Persians have burned its temples to the ground. Through the winter, Sparta hesitates, and the other Greeks accuse her of hiding behind her walls of men. Then, in the spring of 479, the overseers act, and they do it in silence. 5,000 full Spartan citizens march out at night, nearly 2/3 of every citizen Sparta has, together with 35,000 armed helots. It is the largest force your city has ever sent anywhere. You are in it. You march for days through the isthmus and into the hills beyond. And all along the road, people come out of their houses simply to watch Sparta pass. At a town called Plataea, the largest Greek army ever assembled, almost 40,000 armored spearmen from 24 cities, faces the Persian general Mardonius. For days, neither side moves. Then the Persians foul the springs and cut the water, and a night withdrawal turns to confusion. And morning finds your regiment isolated on open ground as the Persian cavalry sweeps in. The arrows come so thick they sound like sleet striking the shields. And here Sparta shows the world what discipline is. Because your king Pausanias is sacrificing goat after goat, reading the entrails, and the omens say, wait! So 5,000 men kneel behind their shields under the arrow storm and wait. The man 2 files from you goes down without a sound. To your right, the allied men of Tegea are shouting to be let loose. The Spartans say nothing at all. You grip the olive wood handle of your shield, count your own breaths, and stare at the dust. Then the omens turn, the pipes begin. The line stands as one body and walks, does not run into the arrows. And when the wicker shields of Persia meet the bronze wall of Sparta, the matter is settled in minutes. Somewhere down the line, Aristodemus the Trembler hurls himself out of the ranks and deep into the Persian mass, choosing the death he was denied at Thermopylae and finding it. Mardonius falls, struck down in the melee, and his great army breaks and streams back toward its stockade. And before nightfall, the Greeks storm it, and men who have eaten black broth their whole lives walk through tents hung with silver and gold. By evening, the invasion of Greece is over. You are 21 years old. You sit down in the trampled grass, and your hands will not stop shaking, and around you the survivors are utterly silent. You come home to a daughter born while you were away. The decades that follow are quieter, but Sparta is never truly at peace. At 30, you finally leave the barracks and sleep under your own roof. At 7, your sons are taken into the agoge, and on that morning you say nothing, and you keep your hands perfectly steady. And now you understand your mother completely. When you are 36, the ground itself turns on you. A great earthquake levels almost every house in Sparta in a single day, and ancient writers will claim 20,000 dead. Your wife and children live, but the helots see the city broken and rise in open revolt, and it takes years of grim siege warfare in the hills before Sparta is master in its own land again. Your elder son earns his first scar there, your sons grow into their own crimson cloaks, and your daughters marry warriors and run estates of their own. At 60, after 40 years on the army list, the law finally releases you from service, and for the first time since the age of 7, no one in Sparta can order you anywhere. Your beard goes gray in the one city in Greece where gray beards outrank youth, where young men rise and give you their seats. Past 60, you sit among the elders of your tribe, and one winter morning a young father lays a newborn boy on the table before you. You study the child for a long moment, then you nod. You die at 64, around the year 436 BC, at home, of a fever in the chest, with your sons beside you. For a Spartan who survives the agoge and the wars, this is the most common death there is. Quiet, ordinary, and in bed. Your grave carries no name, because Sparta grants a name stone only to men who die in battle and women who die in childbirth. Everything you leave behind is unwritten. It stands at dawn in a phalanx, holding a shield that protects the man beside it, exactly as you taught it to. In your next life, you are born as